Welcome, everyone. My name is John Weeks, and I am the instructor for this semester's Math 632 Transition to Grad Level Mathematics course. Hope you're doing well. I'm excited to get to meet with you and discuss with you, find new ideas with you with this course coming up here. I wanted to give a quick introduction of myself as well as the course to kind of get us started with what this course is meant to be. Now, before we get ourselves oriented in the actual content of our Canvas class, let me go ahead and introduce myself a little bit. This is my 7th year at Texas A&M, and it is my 2nd year as a instructional assistant professor with the Department of Mathematics. I did graduate from summer of 2022 with my doctorate in mathematics here from Texas A&M, and I was working in groups, namely quantum groups, working with how these quantum group structures work in the world of C-star algebras, von Neumann algebras, other operator algebras. We'll be talking about operators in this class, as well as their relationship to other branches of functional analysis. Analysis is something else that we will get a little bit of an introduction here with this class as well. So I'm very much looking forward to getting to talk about these sorts of things, get people introduced to these topics, and getting them excited about it. One of the things that I'm really passionate about here is math, and I really want to help people see that some of these complicated ideas really can be put out forth. And even if they stay complicated, at least hopefully we can get some understanding of them. Hopefully we can get some cognition from our discoveries in this course. Another thing that I'm passionate about is music. I have been playing guitar and piano since I was about 5 years old, and I still listen to all different types of music today. Maybe some of my favorite artists are Talking Heads, Sufjan Stevens, Kendrick Lamar, lots of these other sorts of artists. But I'm always out there looking for something different. I do this a lot whenever I'm trying to find the shows that I like to watch or find the kind of cinema that I like to be looking at. A24, a film company, has been utilizing a lot of other kinds of studios recently, some in Britain, some in Australia, and some in other locations as well. And I have grown an affinity toward the ways that other people kind of approach any kind of entertainment. And so that's something that I like getting to do in my spare time, is finding something new to watch, finding something new to enjoy listening to. And that's the sort of thing that I enjoy doing. I remember this is back in the day now, but anime was something that I really did enjoy, but it's not as much a common thing for me at this point in time. It's just something that I like to look at every now and then at this point. But that is something maybe that brought me closer to math as well. And maybe this is your story as well. Math came to me as something that I really enjoyed doing because it felt different. It asked me to look at things from a new perspective, a new lens, a new way of trying to uncover the solution to a problem. It didn't want me to do the thing that felt natural to me at first. And it said, rather, this thing that you should do is actually more intuitive. And it started forming my cognition, my logical venues, the way that I try and view the world, because it was giving me the tools that I needed to solve problems I never could have started working with in the first place. You, having gone through and seen math for quite a bit of time up to this point, probably have an idea of how that's impacted you as well. And I'm happy to try and get to hear some of your stories with mathematics as we go through this class. And I hope that we get a chance to discuss that with each other as we continue on. But speaking of how we can meet and discuss with each other, I've introduced myself a little bit here. I would be very curious to hear what you think. What are some of the things that you have? Making sure that I'm sharing the right screen here. Yes, this should be it. So what you have to kind of work with, and what are the things that you are getting to bring to our class here. So you can see here in our little introductory module, some of this will change as I continue working on this today and tomorrow before our class opens up. But here in our introductory module, it says, welcome to Math 632. It says introductions. Please introduce yourself here. There's just a quick line here that says we need to be, having etiquette with each other as we go through and discuss, as that is something that is important. But there's a little prompt here for us to kind of get started with this class. to introduce each other, to get to learn from each other. Because as we progress through this course, I do not want it to just be me, a video head, teaching you mathematics. I want it to be these discussions that you are also having with your peers that is helping you drive forward the knowledge that you are accruing in this course. So let's take a moment to get to know each other. If you would go ahead and start here, go ahead and give your name or the name you'd like to be called just to start us off. Of course, there's a name given up there in Canvas, but what is the name that you would like to be called? Then what do you hope to learn and be able to do after engaging with this course? For many of us, we share a common goal of being able to, behold graduate level mathematics in a way that we really feel like we can get the most out of our learning. But is there anything else that you'd like to be doing? Is there something interesting that you're seeing in the syllabus that you're like, I would really like to take a look at this? Is there something that you're hoping really to get out of this program? Something that you want to see that you absolutely have a handle over, that you feel like you're more of an expert in after this sequence of courses is over, after your program has ended? And then finally, what is an interesting fact about yourself? Give our peers something to respond to you for, like something that shows a little bit of who you are, so that someone can respond and say, "Oh yeah, that is very interesting," or "I have some connection with that." Do that here with this question 3. Once you're done, go ahead and be responding to somebody else in the chat, in this response, in this discussion board here, so that you can be connecting with other people and knowing the people that you will be working alongside this semester. So this is our Canvas course homepage. I see it here from my instructor page. You can see there's a lot of stuff that I can see that maybe is different on your end. So let me go ahead and go here to the student view. Here, you can see the very first thing we have here is our syllabus, as well as a couple of resources that the university offers to any student who is enrolled in Texas A&M. Before we get into the syllabus, let's take a look here at the framework of what each week is going to look like. Right now, there are 3 things given in each week. One is a sequence of reading assignments. One is a sequence of video lectures and notes to record what we learn the video lectures in. And 3, a discussion board for the homework that is going to be due this week. A couple of things are missing here in each of these weeks that will be made available once we get closer to that week. One, you will see the homework linked in this module. You will see a link to a homework page that is going to be due on Tuesdays at 11:59 p.m. The way that you will be submitting homeworks is through Gradescope, a little link right here that we will talk about in just a little bit. But for discussing the homeworks, you have your own board for this so that you can be discussing with everybody. You may have noticed in the rubric for this class that 5% of your grade comes from making some sort of discussion. You are encouraged and even incentivized to try and work with your peers on questions, not just to do it on your own, but to work with other people. That means that oftentimes you have to get started on the homeworks early. In fact, that is encouraged here too, because as we go through a lot of content each week, sometimes homeworks can get a little lengthy, and it's better done in different blocks, different chunks of your schedule, rather than done all at once. Now, clicking on some of these other pages, which are already prepared, you will see a list of reading assignments. There are 3 textbooks for this course, one of which is A Modern Introduction to Linear Algebra by Henry Ricardo. And you can see here that there are readings available for everything in that week. The idea is when you click on this link, you will get to a PDF or a link to download the PDF for this textbook, and you will be asked to read through these sections here before taking a look at the video lectures. This linear algebra textbook is meant to be a kind of a second go over of linear algebra. You may have been introduced to linear algebra in another context, but this is meant to do it with a slight bit more rigor, a slight bit more proof. Then that is going to be an emphasis that we're going to carry through for the rest of our class as well. We want to come in and look at the contents of this course with a little bit more breadth and variety to the types of examples that we want to see. And in order to be able to approach those things, we need to have an understanding of what the things are from a sense of definition, from a sense of proof. So we will be doing a lot of that here in these reading assignments. And then the video lectures and notes, you will see, have a lot of different videos linked, as well as PowerPoint slides. These PowerPoint slides are the blank slides that I or the presenter will be using to give the content for this course. You can see that each of these videos is divided up into chapters in the following way. If I click here on video lecture 1.1, I am taken to a YouTube video. Here, this is a YouTube recording of me. Here I am in the top right in a different location, recording through some of the slides of which you can find here in the PowerPoint slides given in the handouts column. Now you can see that this video is 1 hour long, but this 1 hour is meant to be taken in separate chunks, all chunks of which are linked in each of these video lectures. For example, this first chunk is the first chapter of this YouTube video, and it goes up until around the 9-minute and 30-second mark. If I click off of this video and then click on video lecture 1.1.2, you can see that we are back here to the same video, but at a different timestamp, this time at the second mark. This will continue throughout the rest of the course to be a way of separating new ideas. If you need to stand up, take a refresher, be like, okay, I want to look at the homework and see if I can solve anything or get anything done after I've done this first unit, then this is a good chance to do that. All right, then after you take that breath or fill in your notes, however you'd like to do it, you can get started on the next idea by either continuing the YouTube video, or if you clicked off the YouTube video for whatever reason, going to this video lecture labeled here. You can also see that each of the video lectures chapters are labeled so that if you ever need to return and revisit a particular topic, you can just click on the respective video lecture. For example, if I need to figure out if something is an example or a counterexample of a vector space, I know I only need to click on this chapter. Now, some of these PowerPoint slides have things filled in. Some of them do not have things filled in. As I was continuing to record videos, I made sure to make it more possible with whatever presentation method that I attempted to use, that you could get a copy of my completed work after everything is said and done. Now, some of them I do have completed work for, but it does not look very nice. So if you need the completed work for whatever reason, please let me know. I can at least give you the raw files so that you can have access to them, but I was not comfortable putting them online for everyone. You can also see here at the bottom, there are going to be a few extra videos sometimes. These are not required viewing, but they are instead video tutorials. So I can click here for video tutorial, and it's going to ask me to sign in. Let me do that real quick. Okay, so here we are. This is just going to be going through some problems. If there is something that maybe is a particular topic that it would be useful to see some more examples on, you might see this given here in the video materials as well. The presenters for some of these might be myself. They might be our director of the Distance Master's program here through the Department of Mathematics at Texas A&M, who is Oksana Shadolov, and she might be giving those presentations there as well. So you will have multiple different perspectives on the same sorts of topics. All right. A lot of these video lectures, by the way, just to acknowledge, are some of these slides or materials are thanks to Oksana Shadolov, as well as another professor here at Texas A&M, Yaroslav Borovets, who have gratefully allowed me to use their materials to help build this class and make it something successful. So that is what our week's material is going to maintain. And there's going to be a few more things in here as well, one of which is, of course, the homeworks. You'll be able to access those and go to this Gradescope link in order to submit your problems. Now, Gradescope is going to have its own set of instructions, which I will later upload here. But you will need to go through and create an account with Gradescope, which you can go ahead and do by clicking on this Gradescope button and putting in your information. Okay, so that is going to be for Gradescope here. Now, let's talk about what we have, what else there is going to be in terms of our syllabus. Let's take a look here, zoom in a bit. There you go. So we can see here. We have office hours on Tuesdays, 5 to 6 p.m. All times in this syllabus and throughout this course are going to be given in Central Time, but these are going to be available on Zoom. Now, you can also make an appointment with me. If you are unable to make this office hour, then you can actually use this Zoom Pro 1.3 link to come in and say, hey, I would like to come in for this office hour. Now, if you need to make an appointment, please make sure you do that through email. Email me through this address right here, if you would please be so kind. I do not like the Canvas email feature here, and the reason is in my email inbox, when I am forwarded something from Canvas, it will give me your response, and then I will respond to it. And if you have to reply, it sends it in a different email thread. so it does not show in the same email thread in my email client. So if you would be so kind to please email me rather than giving me the Canvas, using the Canvas email. And please make sure to put into your subject line something along the lines of Math 632, so that I can make sure that it is for this particular course that I am needing to deal with. If you are unable to make an office hour, please email me so we can set up an appointment to meet. I am more than happy to do that. I'm happy to meet with several at the same time or just one of you individually. So please use me as a resource as you're continuing to work through this course. Later on, you will see here all of the textbooks that we're going through to be using. We're going to start with linear algebra as one of our topics, our main forays into this course. And then we will move on to using an elementary real analysis textbook, a good second go over for analysis. This will be going through with the lens of advanced calculus, again, with a little bit more range, rigor, and proof so that we can apply the principles that we are learning here to a more broad perspective of things. So you can see the book that we need to use there. And then finally, in the last few weeks of this course, we will go through a differential equations book. The analysis one was Thompson, Bruckner, and Bruckner. The differential equation ones is McClure, Borden, and Crete. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Create, perhaps. But the textbooks are all available here and have their own links in these ISBNs. But you can also find each of these online by searching for the author as well as part of the name of the textbook. Okay. Let's see here. What else? The class announcements are going to be posted on Canvas, and your settings should be set up in Canvas for those to automatically go to your university email account. You want to be checking on your email daily for this course in case I am sending out an important announcement. I perhaps made a typo in one of the lecture videos, or I needed to correct something in the homework. You can email me here. I will do my best to respond within 24 hours of your email, but sometimes it's difficult for me to do that, especially at night or on weekends when I may only be sparsely available. You may also use the discussion forums to contact me as well as your peers if you have something like, for example, a homework question. That is something that I would ask that you would direct to the discussion forums so that you can use the discussion forums and have help with your other peer students to work with there. Our grading breakdown for this class is going to be 55% homework, 5% participation. That involves you interacting throughout the course, logging onto Canvas, participation in weekly discussion, and collaboration on assignments. Let's talk about exams very briefly here in this course. I will give some details now and then leave some of the rest once we get closer to exam time. We have 2 exams in this course. One is a midterm exam taking place Friday, October 13th at 6 p.m. And the other is a final exam taking place Thursday, December 7th at 6 p.m. Please email me as quickly as you can if you have any issue with being able to attend any of these exams here. That is something that can be talked about, but I need to know about those early in advance so that accommodations can be made. So the exams will be proctored through Zoom using a 2-device setup. You will need to have a streaming video camera using your cell phone that is set up in a way so that our proctor can view you, your workspace, and your computer screen during the exam. That is going to be a separate device from your computer, which is your test-taking device, what you will be logged into Canvas on. Okay, so this is the way that we will be proctoring things in this class. If you are having an issue with how this proctoring is going, please let me know immediately. This is something that needs to be discussed as quickly as possible. Homeworks are going to be submitted on individual assignments. You can submit these things through Gradescope, and the idea behind homework is for you to be getting help from any source that you need, really. Even if you end up using another source to help you get a question answered, you must cite your source. If we do not want to catch you plagiarizing for any of these questions, so please cite your sources if you're using anything else. Right, okay, and of course you are able to use each other to go through and use these as well. So if you're using a textbook or you're using some sort of online material to help answer a question, please just make sure that you are citing your sources. Otherwise, we would have to go through some plagiarism things that the university would ask for us to do. These assignments are due Tuesdays at 11:59 p.m. through Gradescope right in here. All right, so that is going to be our main ways of getting things submitted for this course. Our late work policy is that in general, these things are not accepted. But if you are looking at your grades and have a question about how something was graded, you can appeal that by letting me know, emailing me to ask about, okay, why was this graded in this particular way? Or, oh, you missed grading this part of this page where I intended my work to be shown. Okay, so let's see. Actually, I said email. I need to take that back here thanks to the syllabus. This will need to be discussed in an individual Zoom meeting, but we can discuss that either in office hours or we can discuss that with an individual meeting that we can set up. Good catch there. Here are the topics that we're going through. I talk a little bit more about what these topics are in some other places as well, but here you can see weeks 1 through 7 have to deal with matrices, linear algebra, and operators. Operators are going to be kind of like looking like matrices, but more in a space that we might call, in quotes, infinite dimensional. This is only a hand-wavy definition of an operator. We'll actually give the definition as we get closer to time. But for now, we're going to use this to broaden our horizons for what we can do as far as what we are analyzing. We are analyzing a operator rather than a matrix. A matrix works in terms of Rn, and an operator can work in any other sort of what we will call a vector space. So we will define that in the very first video and move forward from there. After that, we will go ahead and analyze calculus, going through and having a more rigorous approach to our calculus sequence. We will go and discuss it from a topological point of view in particular, so you will see us using a little topology here and there, as well as the things that are often done in a first semester advanced calculus course, combined with things that you might see from looking in a multiple variate calculus course here in these last couple of weeks. We will then get a quick review of differential equations in here, as this is something else that is going to be very important for our foray into this program, and that will be done in the last few weeks. And then we will top it all off with our final exam. Again, that will take place on Thursday. Everything else here is university policy, so I've kind of given a good introduction here for this course. But of course, if you have any questions with regards to how the course is compiled, you please email me at jweek03@tamu.edu. I'm happy to go through and be discussing these with you. Here you can see everything is more or less modeled out. You can even be working a week ahead on some of the material here. I will unlock certain modules a week in advance so that you can at least access week 2 during week 1, week 3 during week 2, so on and so forth, in case for whatever reason you know you need to get ahead in a specific week. Maybe something is coming up that is going to take a lot of your time. But if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email, set up a Zoom appointment. I am happy to meet and discuss with those of you here. If you haven't already, go ahead and make your introduction. I'm excited to get to meet every one of you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.